Howdy, folks. It is I, the Solo Gamer, back again. And this is just a little side something going on. So recently there's been some updates to Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, and it's been a while since I did a video on it, so I figured, what the hell. And so I figured we'd do the legendary warrior battle.
Show me what you've learned.
Because it'll give me a chance to show you both who the new character is, and give me a chance to talk about something that's been in the news recently that I thought... Ooh. So that is... my maximum power is already achieved. Okay. Fair enough. So, anyway, this is Shallot, the main character from the Dragon Ball Legends mobile game. And he is voiced in English by Alejandro Saba, I believe his name is, also known as Kagi Films or Sayu the Cyborg Seiyu. Fairly popular VTuber. And this is one of the characters I first ever ran into him in, because I didn't realize he did other work until I played this particular, until I played Legends to test it out. I mean, I'm a Dragon Ball fanatic. I kinda didn't have a choice. I had to play it. But he's kind of known for doing a lot of different things. He plays many roles in the anime industry, and he's sort of well known as being a very versatile voice actor. But this is cool that he's actually getting to get into this game, considering that the announcement of this game is one of his biggest YouTuber videos, in that he lost his bloody marbles when this game was announced. And then, like a lot of other streamers, he learned the hard way that this is a great game to play, not such a great game to stream. But anyway, the actual thing I want to talk about today is I want to talk about the Stop Killing Games initiative. I don't know if I've talked about it before, or if it's in any of my other videos that might come up at some point. But I do know that it's a big topic right now, and I felt like with recent events I kind of need to discuss it. So I figured, why not? Ooh, got him. I love the Doppler effect they give Goku on this. And it's something you hear in both the English and the Japanese, so I think that's cool. But the Stop Killing Games initiative was something that, I don't know... I know that the catalyst for it was the video game The Crew. The shutdown of The Crew was a big catalyst for it. But I know that it kind of grew out of The Crew. Ow! I know that was a big catalyst for it. But I know that it started a while back and was sort of struggling, and then Pirate Software, another YouTuber, and I guess he's like a former Blizzard employee. I used to catch his shorts on a regular basis. I actually used to like the guy, but he made a video belittling the game, and a lot of people blamed him for the movement's struggles. And the creator of the movement responded, and then Pirate Software responded back, and that caught a lot of attention. And now there's like Asmongold and Moist Critical and a bunch of other guys have joined into the fray, and I think a lot of that has helped get it going again. And it's now reached its goal of 1 million signatures, which, once they're verified, means that the European Union, who I do not like the European Union, but in very specific regards, it is notably good work. Dang it.
Leave the rest to me.
All right, fine.
Wild cannon. To catch up and push me out.
There we go. But the Stop Killing Games movement saw this massive
really
surge.
Takes it out of you when you go all out. Don't know about you, but
And it's now reached its goal. And it's actually surging forward again, and now there's a lot of drama around it. But one of the surprising things was Video Games Europe, the lobbying group for video games in the European Union, actually responded, which to me says they're terrified, because this is something that could completely redo how everything is organized and how everything goes. Now, me personally, I'm all for this. I think it needs to be done. I do think it's an absolute requirement that these events need to be taking place.
wow,
But
everybody's here.
for what it's worth,
Who I fight, not gonna
the
lose.
question, I agree with the movement. I support it wholeheartedly. My only concern is implementation. How do you set it up and make it work? Which some people have argued that's a problem. Like, how do you implement something so specific and make it work? And my argument is you work that out after the initial issue, but you have to get these rules and regulations in place and then sort out the details. All right. Oh yeah, this is team non-main Saiyans. So this is all the secondary Saiyan heroes are antagonists. This is Shallot, who is technically he was from a mobile game. He was the main character in the game, but nowhere else. Kaba, who is Vegeta's second, and Broly, Kefla, and Nappa. So these are all second string Saiyans, essentially. But Stop Killing Games could very much be the thing that really fixes a lot of the problems that exist in the industry. And I very much feel like it's necessary. I understand the concerns about things like, how do you do this without causing larger scale damage to the industry? But the thing is, this would only damage you if your model was based on fleecing customers. If your model is not based on fleecing customers, then you should not be worried at all about this. And I think that's a big reason why they're afraid, is that this would hold a lot of the gaming industry accountable for its most unpleasant and unwanted business practices. Got it. And I think a lot of people want this to go through because EA and other companies could terminate a game's existence, and the money you spent now suddenly has zero meaning. It is you just lost the product you paid for, and there's no way for you to recover that.
There it is. Take this. Where are you looking? Dodge, no escape. More with it.
Yeah, someone has a major thing for Kaba here, because he is OP as hell in this game. And it's almost all due down to the speed of his animations, but
This could get nasty. There it is. Take this.
Oh my. Perhaps
Oh,
I
got it.
can recommend.
But Stop Killing Games can and hopefully will be a panacea for the gaming industry's worst practices. I hope so.
Time is slipping away. Better hurry.
And my hope is that once it does, if it does have that success,
Say it. Where are you looking? I won't abandon
it
my
will
faith.
actually, get the gaming industry to knock off some of its BS. Like, a good example is Anthem. It was just announced today that Anthem is going to be going away, is going into the trash, and will meet its end soon. And there will be no recovering it. It will be gone forever. And not that Anthem was precisely a good. Not that Anthem was exactly a good game. I mean, I'm not going to argue that. But I think if you bought Anthem and you do enjoy playing it, you should have the option to keep playing it some way or another. Freaking Jaren. Got him. Can I get him with this one?
Don't underestimate Satan. That's just the way it goes. Piece of cake.
She's strong. I like Kefla. I do not like her outfit or design in terms of her clothing. Like, her actual design itself it's fine. I get the sort of rough and tumble, like, renegade Saiyan look. But seriously, yoga pants and a crop top? Seriously? Is that what we're going with this girl? Is that the best you can do? And even Team 4-Star was like, seriously, leave the yoga pants in the gym. What can you do, right?
Winner of this match will go on to fight
Well,
in
that
the
hardly
finals.
seems fair.
Do your best, everyone!
Let's do this.
I hope everybody's ready for this. As the tournament of power starts now.
You ready?
But
Wow!
this is an example that one of the things I keep hearing people say is that this would put undue burden on the game companies, and that's bullshit.
Refreshing to see warriors go all
There was a game that came out 2 decades ago that had this right from the get-go, and it was called Descent Free Space 2. It was actually a sequel to Descent Free Space, which was a sort of a in-cockpit space shooter as emulate. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. It was a space sim shooter, but it wasn't super simmy. It was like somewhere between sim and arcade. But it was excellent at the time. Had a solid story, had decent characters, had some great villain activity, and then had a great sequel, solid follow-up. But then Violition, who would go on to do Saints Row, would eventually just say, "No, we out," and decide that they were going to walk away. And in the case of Violation, they went on, did Saints Row for several years, and Saints Row would eventually wind up being, it would be their bread and butter, and that would be their death knell, because as we all know, the last Saints Row game is what killed the company. Which is sad, but like, people tried to warn them, and tried. Like, they literally told them time and again, look, this is not going to work. This is only going to end up poorly. You've got to stop. And they doubled down and were refusing to delay or make any kind of changes, and they were convinced that they were going to get it, that it was going to be fine, and it wasn't fine. And now that game's a laughing stock. Violation's dead. They're in the grave. And yet, Descent Free Space, one of the games that they created, has outlived the company itself literally through,
Not yet.
has outlived the company itself, literally because the fan base took it over. And I'll try to explain how this worked, but when Volition ended, when they gave up on Free Space, they handed the source code and everything else over to the fans. Like, put it out to the public, gave it to everybody, and said, "Look, this is our source code. It's all yours. Do what you want."
You better take this
And
one
what would
seriously.
eventually happen is the fans would re-engineer it, and eventually would keep updating it every single time DirectX or video cards reached a new plateau. They'd add graphical updates and texturing and specular lighting and bit and mip mapping, all this other junk that became commonplace as the technology improved. They kept adding it to Free Space 2. Beyond that, they even added new content, stories, expansions. There's an entire series called Blue Planet, which essentially is Free Space 3. No official support, of course, but it may as well be Free Space 3 because it picks up from where the last Free Space ended, and uses that as a baseline
Who's gonna win?
to expand into an entire new level of concept and ideas.
Once I know enough
And
about
it's
this time to make it
absolutely
on my
great.
own,
You can actually
I'm
get
out.
it
Got it?
easily right now. If you have Free Space 2 through Steam or GOG, or even the retail version, if you have that, you can get a program called Knossos. And it's free of charge. There's no cost to it. It's available to the public. And basically what it is it's a mod management system where all it does is it updates the software you have to the most recent version and gives you a list of modifications, updates, contents, even total conversions that you can play, and then gives you the means to install them. And while it certainly isn't perfect, like it's not perfect. It has its glitches and bugs and everything else, just like any other piece of software. But what used to be these complex, troublesome processes that took extended amounts of time to make work can now be accomplished in 20 minutes or less, and you can have entirely new systems in your platform ready to go. And it's all built off the original engine. Ooh, got him. He's hosed. I love Super Brawly. I like Brawly in general. Though I will say that original Brawly had the dumbest backstory in all of Dragon Ball. Just straight out. But Descent Free Space had, in and of itself, I guess you could call it a second revival, because the fan base took it over and kept it going. And that's all we're asking, is that if you aren't going to continue supporting the game, well, fine. We understand. We get that. But make it so that if you aren't going to keep supporting it, you give us the means to do so. If you choose not to continue support for the game, then alright, fine. You made the decision. But then let us keep it going if we want. I'll give another example. Because we just won the tournament and mopped the floor with these guys like it was nothing. Let's do just a regular old world tournament real quick.
The long-awaited World Martial Arts Tournament is about to begin!
And we'll do that as the final fight, so I can. I don't know why, but this stage always causes load trouble, but that's okay. Daima, Goku, and Vegeta. I saw Daima, and honestly, it's fun. It's cute, but it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball. It really doesn't. At least, especially early on. Later on, it does actually get pretty good, but I don't know. I just feel like it does not match what I anticipated Dragon Ball to be, but maybe that's just my bias. But I do feel like a lot of the games, a lot of the series' identity is, why not?
My turn now.
Is lost when you're not doing the more melodramatic martial arts stuff. But anyway, as I was saying, I'll give you another example of a game that should have that is a prime example of why Stop Killing Games is absolutely necessary. Battleborn. And I'm being completely honest. I will be the first to say that when Battleborn came out, I was a mammoth, and I mean mammoth, Overwatch fan. I was playing the crud out of Overwatch back then. Now I will say that I did not actually. I got into Battleborn as a secondary thing because it kind of interested me. I thought it was pretty cool. But I also was well aware that it was basically like it was trying to muscle in on Overwatch's success. Uh-oh, everybody clear the arena. But I didn't play the multiplayer for Battleborn. I only ever played the single player stuff, which I very much enjoyed. I thought the single player stuff was a lot of fun. I thought the missions were in. And I did play them co-op, and actually did enjoy playing them co-op more than once, but it's just, I always enjoyed playing them either way, but I enjoyed it as a single player experience. When the servers were shut down for Battleborn, it shut the single player experience down too. You couldn't play it at all, period. That is wrong. I bought that game. I paid for it. I should still be able to play it, even if it is only in single player mode. And that is why I think Stop Killing Games is necessary. And I think a lot of the reason why the bigger game companies are so afraid of this movement is that it represents a break in it would represent a change in the way gaming works.
That's it. Yeah, here we go.
Dang it, I'm losing here.
No mercy for you. There you are. Take this.
Dang it.
So long as I'm standing, evil will never prevail.
Kind of did like the Gamma characters' designs in Superhero. It was unique, if nothing else. But yeah. But I do feel like Battleborn is a perfect example of why there is a massive problem in the industry and that this may be a fix for it. Battleborn should still be playable to this day, even if it was only single player. I should be able to load all its content onto my hard drive and play it like a normal game. And I can't. And that is, by every measure, that's foul. That's wrong. That is inherently bad. And arguing against it in any way, shape, or form shows an absolute, disdain for the consumer. And I think that's wrong. But I do feel like that's going to be the larger problem in the future. Like, this game will still work even long after the servers are shut down because the single player content will still work. You can still play Xenoverse 1 or 2 in single player if you want. So I don't think it's justifiable or proper that you should be able to say,
If Goku uses his full power, he'll blow this place to smithereens.
typically yes, that would be very much true. But the whole thing with this is just, it's a giant lie. The game industry is freaking out because they're being forced
Piccolo might be disappointed if I lose.
to
I can't let him
show
down.
deference to the consumers, and the fact that they are hesitant to do so is 99% of the gaming industry's problem right now. I mean, all that sort of,
Number 17. Would you
some
like
of
to
that
give
all
a
bubbles
comment?
up in the woke DI nonsense and all the ugly character designs and all this sort of stuff. It's just is an absolute, you know,
Well, you were the one
symptom
who helped me to grow stronger, Piccolo.
of a larger, more deeply held problem in the industry, where these people feel like they have every right and every authority to, you know, do whatever they want. And like as the Ubisoft guy said, you'll own nothing and like it. Well, no,
If Goku
we'll
uses
bankrupt
his
your
full
company and
power,
you have to
he'll
deal
blow
with
this
it.
place
That's
to
what's going to happen.
smithereens.
Ubisoft's already on the way out. Square Enix
you
is
were the
probably
one who
not going to
helped
be
me
far
to grow
behind, though.
stronger,
Square,
Piccolo.
thanks to Final Fantasy XIV, is holding up way better. Like their money issues are pretty notable, but it's
Hey,
not
how come Vegeta's not here?
it's not consistent because they're still making tons of money off of the MMOs and such. But I do think that the gaming industry's headed for a crash. And they may already be in one, and it's just the early stages, but if they
Wonder
don't
if there's anybody strong around here.
if they don't start
You were the one who helped me to grow stronger, Piccolo.
getting, you know, more in line with the ideas of what the consumer wants instead of activists and CEOs and all this other nonsense, that's going to bankrupt them in the long term.
Contestant Tien Shinhan, do you have anything to say about the fight?
And the only funny thing about that is you saw that already happen with Disney and a bunch of other groups, comics and what have you. How's it that these people didn't see the signs when all of us did? Comicsgate and Gamergate were not flukes. They were warnings that nobody observed. It is what it is. Hopefully, I hope Stop Killing Games is successful. I really do. Because I want these people to be held to account. I want them to have to be forced to acknowledge the problem. Even if they don't like it. Even if they don't want to hear it. I'd rather they be made to acknowledge it. And then, hopefully, once they acknowledge it,
Piccolo.
they'll actually course correct and put things right. We'll see. I don't know. But either way,
If there's anybody strong around
this
here.
is just a little. This was just a little rambly rant about the whole Stop Killing Games thing and my thoughts on it. And it's been a while since I played some Sparking Zero, so I figured, why not? But either way, I'll catch you guys next time. This is the Solo Gamer, signing out.